Morning, folks. Today's soap on a Wednesday, last day of May, 31st. It's going to be Tabac. There in the container. I've got a little bit whipped up just right off the top using a horsehair brush. These are not going to be the easiest to find, depending on what part of the world you live in and what circle you travel in. It could be kind of tough to find one like this one here, which for me, I've had this one here for a while. Kind of jumped on it when I found it available a few years back. It's one of my favorite brushes. I like this style, the longer handle. I just like the overall design. Plus the horsehair I enjoy also. I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning, and that's our new puppy. His name, when we first got him, his name was, he was fostered and his name was Remy. We could never get him to respond to Remy, and I just started saying some names, and he would never lift his head, never would respond. And the name off of a animated series, Stimpy, came into mind. I mentioned Stimpy, his head popped up, and so now his name is Stimpy, and he's outside the door wanting in. He's going to stay out there for right now. I've got Tony, our German Shepherd. He's over here joining us this morning. Shaver of the day. This one here is a purple one. I don't know if it's available anymore. I don't think it is. I've had this one a moment. This one here from Irving Barber Company. Yeah, it's a really nice razor, well designed. It takes half of a DE blade or an injector blade or a Feather Artist Club style blade. It takes a few blades. And here recently, they have an offering where you can choose to customize your razor and they'll send it that way. For instance, if you want the shank to be chrome and if you want the bottom part to be red, they'll set it up for you and send it to you. They got, I think, like 4 different colors for the shank and several different colors for the handle itself. If you're interested in, I guess you might say, kind of sort of customizing your razor there. Like I said, I already put a hot towel to the face this morning, and I'm going to use a Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements pre-shave cube. This one here is usually available right around February, around Valentine's Day. I've got it setting up over here. I've used it a few times, and there it is. This one here is a chocolate flavor to it. As it goes for the scent, I notice it when I first put it on, but I don't notice it, shortly thereafter. And that has a lot to do probably with my nose. So in other words, if you're kind of concerned if a pre-shave cube like this that's scented will interfere with the rest of your shave, it really probably just depends on your nose. I know from my nose, while I'm working it into my face, working up a little bit of a lather, I really don't notice it, but it is noticeable right off the start. And I leave it just setting up over here. I've got a stand over here that I've got it sitting on. Matter of fact, it's sitting on the same container that I put my used razor blades in. But anyway, it just stays over there. So, and the scent, it lasts for a while. I mean, it's been sitting over there for a good moment, and I can still smell the chocolate. It's not I wouldn't consider it super strong at this point, but I do notice it for a brief moment. In other words, I can't smell it anymore, so it might be more to do with my nose than the actual scent strength of the cube. But I do find it quite helpful, especially taking care of, I guess you might say, some deficiency in my skin. Excuse me. In that sometimes it's a little dry. It needs a little bit of help. And this pre-shave cube helps out quite a bit. Go ahead and get started. Oh, Feather Artist Club. This one here is a super. The super doesn't always work well for a lot of folks. I noticed that a lot of folks prefer the professional version, which I guess you might say is just a step down from this one here. This one here is mainly for heavy growth, and mine seems to be that way. I've tried the professional several times, and it just doesn't work well for me. But it also will take Kai blades which is pretty nice because I have one. Matter of fact, it's the only one I've tried from Kai that works just great for me. Is the one that's referred to as pink, and the pink is has more to do with how the blade is made as opposed to any kind of grinding on the blade itself. These are one of the most versatile shavettes out there. Uh, if you ever need a part, any part of this razor, you can get it straight from the website, which I think is pretty cool. If you're wondering what a person might need for a razor like this, for instance, there are plastic transparent washers that are right here at this pivot point that might wear out on you, and you might need to replace those. If you drop the thumb screw down the sink, you can get another one of those. There's a number of things that could accidentally happen where you might need a replacement. Another one is that you may only want to, help keep things at a minimum. You may only want to get the handle in a different color because you can swap these out. You can kind of tell there's a screw right there where you can take it apart, swap out the handle if you want to do your own customization and colors. This one here, when I saw the purple, that's my wife's favorite color, so I had to get that. For me, when I use a shavette, I usually just do a 2-pass shave. What is typically with the grain, then against the grain. I don't go across the grain on my neck. Um, it's I don't find I have a need for it. Even with the 2-pass shave, I do quite well. I only have one part that's right through here that causes me issues from time to time, where I might need a do across the grain right there along the jawline. If you find going across the grain on your face is an issue and you only have a small portion like I do, it's really easy just to use what I call their standby razor if you feel the need. What I've got setting aside today is a Henson. This is a medium one. I've had this one from the get-go. When they first came out with these, I thought this was a really nice shaver. It's got the preset angle there, easy to use. Kind of sort of, I guess you might say, go on automatic pilot. You don't really have to think too much about it as long as you don't put too much pressure on it. Easy to use razor. Tabac, as it goes for the scent, um, I like it. It's unique. There's not very many soaps out there that come close to this kind of scent. I do like the fact that it comes in its own ceramic container. Makes it kind of nice. This particular razor, because it takes so many different blades, I think would be suitable for a lot of folks. Once they got started and figured out that this is a thing for them, not everybody likes using shavettes. But the fact that you can use a half of a DE blade to get started might appeal to a lot of folks. That way you're not having to start with a whole new blade design or anything quite like that until you get used to it. And then you might venture, work your way up to a Feather Artist Club style blade. On part of this particular shaver right here is where yes, this part right here on the opposite side of the thumb screw is a couple of magnets to help hold the blade in place if you're kind of wondering about that sort of thing. Like I said, a 2-pass shave for me pretty much does the trick. You can usually get close enough to where a third pass is not necessary, and I can usually catch that part right through there pretty well. Close enough to the point where by the end of the day, even if there's just a tiny bit left right through here, it's not even noticeable at the end of the day. You can't even see it. But then again, as you can tell, most of my hair is white, so it might be kind of hard to see anyway. In other words, if it's black, it might show up a little bit, but close enough for me. I say it's only once in a great while that I can usually catch it with a shavette, but every once in a while, if I feel like maybe, just maybe, I'm not quite up to it, I'll grab the quote unquote my standby razor and just do a couple of strokes right there real quick, and it's done. This is a very nice close shave. I still have a little bit of my alum block. It has gotten smaller over time. This is all that's left of it. The container's still hanging in there. It hasn't broken yet. Got this from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements from back in the day. I think it was like $4, $4.50, something like that. Pretty inexpensive. And I do use this with every shave. It's just a habit that I started a while back. I don't use it by itself. I feel like it dries my face out too much. I usually end up having to follow up with the witch hazel. To me, the combination works better than the two separate. Excuse me. And today's witch hazel, I'm going to be using Thayer. As you can see, it's been in the bathroom. Humidity is taking the toll on the label, but that's lavender if you're kind of wondering. And if you're unfamiliar with Thayer's, as it goes for the little spout where the witch hazel comes out, it's really small. So in other words, a whole lot don't come gushing out because the opening is fairly tiny if you're kind of wondering about that lid. The lavender, it's there, it's present. It's kind of like the pre-shave soap. I can smell it for a moment, and then shortly thereafter, I don't notice it anymore. I've got the matching aftershave here in this cool container. Now this container, as it goes for the restrictor, it's a bit bigger, but it's still relatively small compared to, say, like Aqua Velva. You're familiar with it? Aqua Velva's got a huge hole in it. A lot will come out at one time. This one here, you can take a few shakes before you can get enough in your palm of your hand. To me, this scent is really nice. It's very unique. I like it. It works well for my nose. Just really nice stuff. And I had a great shave today. Hope everybody's doing well. Hopefully I'll get back in a groove and make more videos than what I've had in recent past. Well, hope everybody's doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.